How's it going, guys? I don't know if this is going to go up on YouTube or when it's going to go up, but this is being recorded on the day that Russell Westbrook announced that he was going to be retiring. A lot of people have one or two athletes or singers or whatever that really resonate with them and inspire them as they're growing up. And for me, that was Russ. So for my own sort of mental processing, I just kind of wanted to make a little something to talk about, his impact on me and thank him, even though he's probably never going to see this, just for everything he's done. So a bit of a background on, how I first found Russ and started following him, I guess, is I was in like third grade, fourth grade. It was about like 2012. And, we had just gotten an Xbox for Christmas. And I want to say either Christmas of that year or March of that year, we had gotten a package deal of NBA 2K13. And with it, it came with, I think it was the show 2013 or whatever 2K's equivalent was. I would just play as like a random team as a kid. And I played as the Thunder. And I really liked how fast Westbrook was, right? It's a little funny, but I was just like, oh, this guy's really fast. I want to play as him. And then, that led me to actually watching basketball. At the time, my dad and I didn't really have much that we had in common, but I knew that, he would watch basketball pretty much every night. And so at one point I was like, hey, Dad, there's this Westbrook guy. I really like him. Can we watch a game together? And he was like, yeah. So we sat down and we would watch all the OKC games that were on national TV, which was a lot at the time. About at the same time, I was always involved in sports as a kid. My parents wanted to make sure that I grew up with a lot of hobbies and athletic interests, just so I was a well-rounded person. And one of those sports that I played growing up was basketball. And, in fourth grade, I was a bit of like an awkward kid. I was into programming and computers and a bunch of interests that, like, at that age, kids will pick on you for, whatever. One kid who'd give me the hardest time, he was really into basketball too. And he was like, yeah, like, you stink at basketball, you're on the team, but you shouldn't be, whatever, all these negative things. At some point in fourth grade, I had watched enough Russell Westbrook highlights and games and interviews to know that he had this whole why not mentality, and so I kind of channeled that and I was like, hey, if you are going to make fun of me for being bad at basketball, why can't I be better than you if I put in some work? I think it was the summer going into fifth grade. I was just out in the driveway every day working on my handles, my jump shot, passing, whatever else I could think of that I sucked at and I wanted to get better at. And so, come fifth grade, I'm all like, I was being just like Westbrook. I was a shy kid off the court, but on the court, I was doing everything I could to help my team win, putting in maximum effort, trying to be as big of a factor in our wins and losses as much as possible. And, that kid will never admit it, but in my mind, I did get better than him. And that was one less thing that, people could use to knock me down a peg. It was like, I actually put in work in something and got better at it. And I saw results from it. And as a kid, that's like, that's the first instance I can remember of being a kid and being like, this is something I'm interested in. I'm going to put in effort and I'm going to get better at it. And you see those results and you're like, wow, that actually works. So like, that's just something I've carried with me the rest of my life, But I really have to thank Russ for being as outgoing of a person and a player as he is. If he wasn't as unique of a person or player, I probably wouldn't have picked him in 2K and, gotten close to them. But, because I did, I grew to love the game of basketball and, get closer with my dad. Come fourth grade, he saw I was getting into basketball and he got me tickets to go see Russ play at our local team's arena. That became like a yearly tradition. So it's cool now. I'm way older now, obviously, because back in fourth grade, it was probably 2012, 2013, right? So I can look back at pictures and videos from pretty much every year throughout fourth grade and beyond, and like see myself grow up and like my dad and I at these games. So it's really, really great memories. But yeah, it was just something for us to get closer about and talk to. It's now we talk every day about sports and other stuff, and I don't know if we would have grown as close if it wasn't for Russ getting me into basketball. But I mean, going back to the why not mentality. I mean, I've watched, at this point in my life, I'm a big Westbrook fan. I've watched pretty much every documentary that's out there about him. I've watched every national TV game, and anytime I could get my hands on a local game, even when he was on the other side of the country as me or whatever, I'd watch as many games as I could stay up for. And that why not mentality kind of carried me through my education and through my work and through my other hobbies that I have outside of basketball. It's like I went to a small school, and then I worked really hard and got a scholarship to a nice high school, and then I kept working even harder, and I got a nice scholarship to a really nice college. And I went and I pursued a major of my dreams, and then I graduated early, and I was lucky enough to get a job that's very, very close to what my dream job would be. And without thinking, hey, other people accomplish these things, why can't I? Why not? People doubt you and you say, why not? If I didn't think that way, I don't think that I'd be where I am. I don't know that this is going to be an enjoyable watch for anyone. I just kind of wanted to get on here and rant about like how impactful someone can be just doing what they love. Really showing people what it's like to put 100% of yourself into something and seeing the results of that. It's inspiring. I'm going to miss Russ. I don't know if basketball will ever be the same for me. I got to be a Kings fan now, I guess, because he left his career there. So that's going to suck. But yeah, if anyone knows Russ, or if anyone's a Russell Westbrook fan, I'm sure you feel the same way. But super thankful for what he showed me and what he taught me. I'm glad. It seems like he's one of the most disrespected players in recent memory when it comes to his accomplishments and how people actually treat him. So I've been scrolling through Twitter and Instagram and YouTube, and it seems like people are giving him his flowers despite all that hate that he's gotten in the past. So it makes me happy to see that, at least. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'm not really sure why someone would watch this, to be honest, but it was nice to just be able to get it all out, little form of therapy. So yeah, Russ, if you're out there, thank you. Everyone else, have a good day, I guess.